Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us on the Camnet Rise and Thrive breakfast show. Sorry for starting the program a little bit late. This is due to circumstances beyond our control. You know, live programs are always like that. You experience a bit of hiccups here and there, but what's important is that we are back on your screens. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you had a great weekend, just like we did. But some of us were busy working. Now, Constance is already up and running. She's been in the studio for a long time, and she's even complaining, what time are we going on here? Constance, good morning.
Good morning, Kalana.
How are you doing?
Very well.
From the look of things, it seems the weather is now accommodating. I can look at the dress code. Everything has changed now. No more jackets.
Quite Bakaraka saying that there's no fashion has no weather.
Oh, fashion, yeah, especially so for a woman. No matter
how cold it is, if I feel like wearing something like this, I'll go.
Especially for a woman.
Yeah.
But when I check your body, goosey bumps are everywhere. Chikanda, you are just doing this to warm you as well.
We shall pull through. Yeah.
Whether you struggle or not, you pull through. As long as
have to.
You know, I was talking to. I'm doing some mulomo now.
Mm-hmm.
I hope she's not listening. I'm doing some gossiping. Yesterday, as we knocked off from work, and Sharon Kalimbula, I'm doing some mulomo because she didn't want to come on the program, so it's fine. We shall bite her. But this is not for her or for. This is just between you and me. Yeah. Let no one hear it. Let no one hear this.
No, it's just
between you and me. Let it not come out from this place, please.
Mm-hmm.
So we were walking down, going to the car as we knocked off around 21 somewhere there yesterday. Mm-hmm. Now, she was wearing a dress. When she was coming out of the studio, she wore something like, what do you call it? With a hood on it. Then she closed her entire face. And then she got her chitenge and the whole entire feet were covered.
Yeah.
So it's like, you were in a short dress a while ago. Oh, I'm a lady, my friend. A lady has got no weather. I just have to put on something. But now, so you look like you're going for a funeral because you've covered literally your entire body. So why punch yourself in the coat because a woman has got no weather?
But yourself, you're not wearing a jacket, so you are just wearing
no. But a necktie makes you warm if you don't know.
Really?
Yeah, a necktie makes you warm.
Okay, because you it's going to be choked. I don't get the question. What's the question?
I've even choked my. I need to reduce this thing. Yeah, the man has got weather.
Yeah.
All right. Today. The discussion on Camnet being removed from the DSTV and GoTV continues. On your screens, it's now 8 days to go before we are removed from these two platforms. And of course, as I said, the reasons are very clear, loud and clear, according to communications between MultiChoice and Camnet TV. Communication is that MultiChoice is spending a lot of money on maintaining this institution on their platform, and that Camnet is not watched by you, the viewers out there. So Camnet just broadcasts it to itself, and of course we just talk to ourselves and we watch ourselves. We broadcast and watch ourselves. So there's nobody who's watching Camnet television from the time we've been on the platform about 3 years ago to 4 years now. So that is the status quo. You can also fill us in with what you think regarding that development. Now, today was supposed to be a day for some youth protests, protesting against high corruption, and of course, what they term silencing of voices, lack of expression, freedom of expression, and of course, among other issues in the country. Now, the Minister of Home Affairs, Stephen Kampyongo, warned that any youth that will be on the streets should be ready, and of course ordered Kakoma Kanganja to prepare his troops to ensure that if anybody went on the streets, they must be flushed out as quickly as possible. This now drives us to the topic of discussion that we are having today, which is President Edgar Lungu's legacy on youths. If today President Lungu left office, let's assume today he left office, what would be his legacy on the youths. Now, later on, I'll be inviting Mulunga Jones, who is a Center for Young Leaders in Africa, and he is the executive director. So he's in the studio. He'll be joining us just to discuss the legacy of President Edgar Lungu with regard to youths.
So, just a quick one, Kalan. When you say today was supposed to be a day for protest, is the protest not going on today?
The protest is,
because according to what I know,
there are conflicting statements. Number one, let me tell you. Number one, this man claiming to be the president of the youths, Arthur Mukea, yesterday said, issued a statement, not a statement, of course he was talking, that's also a statement, that the protest has been pushed to the 27th of June 2020. Biflo and the team also issued a statement that the protest be pushed forward. Now, we are seeing another team, Pilato and others are also saying, they met also Musa Munye yesterday, and they are saying that the protest is on. And where they were saying that, Biflo was also there, but Biflo again joined another group and said the protest is not going on. So now, these are the contradictions now. Who are we listening to? Who's who? Who's managing what? So that's the
according to the information I got yesterday, they were actually all of them together, Biflo and everybody who's planning on having that protest. Pilato, I think the people that are organizing, who are saying they are not supporting any political party. Of course, I think those are the ones who are supposed to listen to, not those that are coming from the opposition who want to join. So basically, those who say they are neutral and they're not supporting any political party, they're saying the protest is on today. According to them, the place where they were supposed to meet to discuss that, they said it
compromise.
Like, yeah, some people
that's where Biflo and the team were now coming to say we put our hours on hold because the venue for the event has been compromised.
Yes, but according to them, again, they came out in.
So this is why I'm saying there are contradictions.
Yeah, so
literal contradictions everywhere. So now, even if you, Constance, you wanted to be part of that, where do you even start from? Because already you don't know who to listen to or where to start from.
Yeah,
are you going at the post office?
To communicate, I think around 22 hours where they will meet, should be today around 14 hours. Everybody should be in black. So whenever you see people who are wearing black, and I don't know, why you
come on,
are
please.
You part of the, because you know when you walked in I was like, okay,
please,
okay, no,
please.
It's important to be part and parcel
of this table is black, so my dress code.
No, but the table can't speak. You are a human being. You know today is the 22nd. I said wear black. I made it very clear from what I'm wearing because I don't want to confuse anybody. So, Mr. Mchima,
well, probably it's just a coincidence. It's just a coincidence. Constance, am I not looking smart? I feel I'm looking smart.
Somehow.
I feel like I'm looking presentable. It's got nothing
but
to do.
But you know the police will mistake you for those who are...
No, come on. I'm here on the set to different...
You're not going to go out today in the field?
I'm going out,
yes,
but that does not mean...
Attire.
Look, this is not black.
But almost everything is black there.
No.
And the tie has some black.
Please, excuse me. Even you can see some black in you.
No, but I mean, this is basically checked.
Yeah, it's checked because checked there's also some black. Your hair is equally black, your wig, your phone is black, so you also have a lot of black on you. But what we can do, Constance, for now is let's break off for a short break. When we are back, Mulunga Jones will be joining us on the set and he'll carry us through the discussion. But let the discussion continue on the other side, even on the issue of the 8 days to go. Before we are removed from
DSTV and Topstar.
No ways.
No, GoTV, sorry.
No ways. And GoTV, but we shall remain on Topstar. So we go for a short break.
This is Camnet TV World News. For a prompt response, call +2609 53 995 099 or +2609 62 444 726 or +2609 711 77467. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
To increase sales of your products and services, advertise on Camnet TV. Reach your clients and target markets directly and see your business grow. For special rates, you can contact our marketing department on
0955 664 305 or 0978 290 626. Camnet TV,
not just another channel.
All right, thank you so much for still staying with us, and welcome back to the Rise and Thrive Breakfast Show right here on Camnet Television. We are live on DSTV, live on GoTV. We are also live on Facebook. We are also live on Top Star. But in the next 8 days, Camnet Television will no longer be on DSTV, will no longer be on GoTV, unless otherwise something comes up within these remaining 8 days. If a deal can be reached where negotiations conclude, that we shall remain, but as far as we are concerned, 8 days is remaining. Now, Jones Malunga is in the studio just to help us discuss the legacy of President Edgar Chagwa Lungu with regards to the youths in the country. Jones, good morning.
Good morning, Kalan, and good morning, Major.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for waking up early in the morning. You are having some tea?
Thank you. It's always hard, and it's very, very cold. So the good lady had to make sure that at least my fingers are warmed up.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you know what we used to do during our school days, and I'm sure this is something that everybody has done. At a time like this, away with the COVID, because then we never knew about COVID-19. But so at this stage, we should all be in school, whether you are a grade 6, you are a grade 4, you are a grade 5.
Yeah.
Isn't it, Constance? Yes. Yeah. So you found that it's very cold, you put water in a bottle, and you're going.
Warm water.
Suffice also to mention that I think this has been like the coldest year for me.
Right. You're right.
Apparently, it's the hottest year in Europe, but
Coldest
in
Zambia.
Yeah.
in Zambia or in Africa?
Well, I'm not sure about Malawi and the other places.
I'm not sure West Africa, because West Africa is extremely hot. You go to
maybe we need to check around and see.
Yeah, we need to check if those places are cold at this stage. But otherwise, in Zambia, it's extremely cold.
0 degrees. Kalamo.
When I was 0 degrees in Kalabo,
Yes,
I can imagine Serenji and Kalomo, because Serenji and Kalomo, Mkushi, Mpika, these are the coldest.
Yeah.
Coldest in this country. So I can imagine at this, Yes. I remember one time we traveled with Guy Scott. By then he had left government. So we traveled with him. We were in Serenja. We had a night stop over there. The man, the Muzungu comes out of his room early in the morning with a blanket on. He said, Your Excellency, you are going out with a blanket. Then he used, can I say it? Oh, but anyway, that's how he talks. He used an F word. This place is too cold. You know what I mean?
And you know when a Muzungu says that.
It's cold.
It's really cold.
Yeah.
That's so. Every time I remember that incident when I go into Syringe, that's what reminds me of. It's the guy's coat. He comes out with a blanket and with some whiskey. You know, him and whiskey. That's what I'm saying anyway. Whether I should say it or not, but he's good at his whiskey.
We get it.
You get it. He's good at his whiskey, and he's coming out of the room with it and with the blanket on and says, "This place is cold." Not like, oh, okay, the Mzungu is also feeling cold. Jones.
Yes, Alan.
Today, we were supposed to have a protest by the youths, but I know you're not here to talk about the protest. The youths are complaining that there are lack of opportunities in this country. The freedom of expression has gone down, corruption has gone high, and everything seems to be going in the opposite direction. You are representing an organization that looks at the welfare of youths. Let's talk about zeroing in on the positives you can say this government under President Edgar Chagwa Lungu has achieved in terms of addressing the youths, the youth. Constance, which word can I use? The plight of youths.
Yeah, in Zambia.
You also don't know. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, where do I start from?
You can start from either Z and come back to A or A to Z.
Look, I'm trying to run my mind here to exactly see.
Let's start. Okay, let me give you this scenario. Let's start from job opportunities. Opportunities, let's say, in government or anywhere. Are youths being represented well, or has this government given paid attention to the youths in position of governance?
Well, relatively speaking, if we say the government has totally done nothing,
yeah,
that would be very crude. Okay, suffice to mention that then how do we put it? So there is marginal, okay, maybe that could be the word.
Right.
There could be marginal consideration in terms of young people. Though personally, and as a person who's coming from an organization that represents young people, we are not impressed, because what happens in this country is that if somebody is 45 and then they've got a youngish behavior, then that person is taken to be a young person. So normally you find the argument that is there in government is that we have Honorable Vincent Mwale, that's a young person. You know, we have Honorable Usambo, that's a young person. But we argue to say, look, not necessarily so, because if you look at the statutes in this country, the National Youth Policy defines a young person as somebody who's between the ages of 15 and 35. So do we have a young person who's below 35 in government holding a ministerial position? The answer is no. So from that perspective, we'll be able to argue here to say, look, I think nothing really much has been done. But of course, I think there is a little bit that has been done in terms of the 20% contracts that they give to companies, local companies, and then those local companies employ young people. Maybe it's an issue of delving into the numbers to find out exactly how many contracts have they given out at 20%, and out of those companies that have been given the 20%, how many young people have they employed. But then, relatively speaking, the fact that you are today talking about issues of protesting and demonstrations and all those things, that shows you to the extent to which young people feel excluded and how the opportunities that relate to young people are not there. Yeah.
Correct. Constance,
Okay,
take it up.
Yes, I just wanted to find out basically on governance issues, where you are saying we don't have young people, perhaps from the age of, I don't know, it's 15 to 35, who are in ministerial positions. But have you tried to look at the young people themselves? Do you think they are capable of having such positions? Because you can't just give a position to somebody who's not perhaps mentally mature, or someone who can be able to deliver to the people of Zambia. It's not just the issue of crying out there and saying, no, the young people are not given jobs, but are the young people able to work? Because looking at the crop of youths that we have in Zambia, do you think it's really fair to give them such big positions? Don't you think they could mess things up?
Well, Constance?
Yes.
Constance, yeah.
I would argue with you that, look, capacity is built. Okay? Capacity is not something that you just pick because you are 18 years, then you have capacity. No. You see, capacity has to be given to you. So the question then that we should be able to answer is, what are the deliberate policies that have been put in place to ensure that young people are given the necessary capacity requisites to be able to manage when they are given these positions of responsibility? So to start with the political parties themselves, look at the National Youth Chairperson for PF and the UPND. Those people are already 45 years and above. But then when you go to their structure, it says they are supposed to be youthful, isn't it? So already you can see that structurally speaking, the mechanisms that are put in place to help young people to be able to develop into good leaders are being twisted and hijacked by the elderly people. The reason why you find the ANC, for example, created the Youth League, that was a deliberate platform that you use to groom young people. Okay, if you look at Julius Malema, when he was still 19, 20, he entered the Youth League, and look at what is happening to him today. So really, yes, we are not going to have all the young people as capable as possible, but definitely we have young people in this country. If you asked me, I'll give you a simple scenario. You know, we have about 1,000 secondary schools, and out of these 1,000 secondary schools, there are people that are prefects in there, isn't it? When they're coming out of grade 12 and they're head boys. What happens to these people as a head boy, for example, of Munali, when they come out of that secondary school? Those are the ones that go on to become youth leaders or union leaders at the University of Zambia or whichever college they come from. And when they come out of there, is there a deliberate mechanism that the government uses to be able to absorb them into the leadership positions?
Okay.
The answer is, well, relatively no. We have, yes, the political party system that should be able to accommodate the young people and then make them grow. But today, let's do an audit just of the biggest political party, the PF and the UPND. Let's come back and discuss tomorrow. We see who the National Youth Chairperson is, the Vice Chairperson. You'll discover that it's only one person maybe there who's below the age of 35. So nobody's building capacity for young people. And then later on, we are coming to say the young people are not responsible. That's not correct. And it shouldn't be correct. And us as young people, as Center for Young Leaders, for example, in Africa, that's why we've created that institution to be able to give capacity to young people so that young people can carry themselves properly. Probably then the leadership can be able to recognize them and give them the responsibilities that they feel they can perform.
Right. Constance, you're still carrying on with the discussion?
Okay. Could you perhaps just give us some of the examples where you think, I mean, you've said the government has tried to a certain extent. What are some of the examples that you think you can give us where youths are really doing well? Could it be the mine sector or what? I mean, we have such...
Well, this is why I was saying it's a little bit difficult to be able to pinpoint for me as far as the... Of course, we have young people, I think, that have been recognized, and I'm not sure, people keep referring to Chris Zuman. I don't know how old he is, but I think from my own assessment, the gentleman...
He's not young.
Yeah, he's not young, he's just slender. And but then in terms of... look, if you go to the Central Statistics Office and look at the social economic census that they take, you realize that 89%, I think, if I'm not mistaken, of the informal sector is driven by young people. Okay? Now, these, of course, are in the informal sector. So if you look at what is happening economically, you'll discover that the people that are responsible for moving this economy are literally the young people. Okay, but then in terms of governance and leadership and being given that space to be able to do what they're supposed to do is where it's lacking, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you think the young people should come out and, champion for these things? Because I've seen some of them champion for this and up to no avail. Nobody comes out to just say, okay, this is what we are going to do. We've seen even the current protest that they are planning. I mean, that thing is like one of the issues that they are championing for. And we've seen so far government is not really giving them an ear or is not listening to them. The Minister of Youth called them for a meeting. That meeting didn't end so well. It was more like a place where people started talking about the achievements they've had, some of the youths who are happening. So what would you tell those youths right now? What do you think should be the solution to this? What exactly are they supposed to do? Should they write to the president to tell him, or what should they protest for this? So what exactly are they supposed to do? Interesting
question, Constance. Allow me to borrow one word that is used by young people themselves, and there's a band of my young leaders that I appreciate, and this is like Thompson and now and their colleagues. They coined a word which said, which they say we're supposed to conscientize. Now, we are saying young people have to be conscientized. What does that mean? It means there has to be an awakening. Okay? There should be a deliberate awakening in the young people's minds for them to understand, for example, to say they have rights and entitlements besides being young people. And then these rights, of course, should be enjoyed. Okay? And for them to be able to understand that they are supposed to enjoy these rights, they need to know about these rights. And right now, one of the rights that they are trying to exercise is the fact that they want to protest. Okay? Now, protesting is just one way, like you said. They can write, they can engage, they can physically go and try to meet the ministers, the PAs, the councillors, the MPs, and everybody else. Now, when young people are conscientized and they understand what their rights are, then they should also be able to understand that they've got a duty to claim for these rights. And they've got a duty to engage the duty bearers, who are the political leaders that are elected to be able to deliver these rights.
Which they're trying to do right now.
Which they're trying to do. Unfortunately, you see the powers that be, they are taking this to and twisting it to make it look like it's a regime change. I think there is no young person out there who wants to remove the president out of State House illegally. This is just a situation where you've tried to write, you've tried to talk, you've tried to engage, but then nothing seems to come out straight. The meeting that you referred to, that is not a proactive meeting that happened. It's a reactive meeting, which was even ill-prepared. That's why you can confirm that it never produced the kind of desired results that is required. Right now, as we speak, I was just checking yesterday, in 2013 or 2014, somewhere there, the government of the Republic of Zambia received $65 million from from the African Development Bank. This $65 million was meant to be able to empower young girls and women. You understand? But you see, I don't know whether here where we are sitting, you have ever heard that there is $65 million, which is supposed to be at the Ministry of Youth and Sport to empower girls and women. Now, you see, what we're saying is the government should not only react to these things, they should be proactive. For example, if that 65 million is there, or it was there, how has it worked? How has it been utilized? If it's not yet utilized, what mechanisms have they put in place to be able to sensitize the young people, the young girls, the women out there, to be able to access that facility? That is what is going to make the young people to be productive and reduce this social confusion that the young people find in terms of unemployment and everything else. And then they won't protest at the end of the day. So really, for us, it's, first of all, the young people have got to be empowered. They've got to know what they're demanding. even those people that are demonstrating today, we are yet to hear if, of course, they're going to be allowed to say what demands are they putting in place. But of course, we can sit here and discuss some of the issues that we feel are causing the young people to feel excluded.
Okay, so what are some of the issues that are causing the youths to feel excluded?
Kalan, you and me, I think, should be alive to the fact that currently our government is contracting a company called Lazard from France to be able to restructure our debt. Now, as at present, I wish to contend here that our debt has actually reached at a point where it's 100% to GDP ratio. The debt to GDP ratio is actually at 100%. Now, what does that mean? It means government consumption has shrunk 100%. Okay, what does that mean? It means that whatever money government is making, everything might end up now going to salaries and paying debt. And the president is on record having said that 40% of the money goes to debt. I think 31%, is it 41% goes to emoluments, leaving only 9%. Now, this 9% is what's supposed to go to the social sectors. Okay? Now, when government is consuming, it means it is spending money on its activities. It is government spending on its activities that stimulates economic investment. You understand? But then, as it is today, there is so much debt such that the government of the Republic of Zambia is spending so much money servicing that debt at the expense of its other programs. And now, because these other programs are being affected, there is no employment, there is no economic opportunities, there's no contracts that are coming to young people. There is literally no money in circulation according to what is supposed to be happening. And this is what is creating now the lack of opportunities and resulting in this feedback that you are seeing from the young people wanting to demonstrate. And unfortunately, what we're having is a government which, I'm sorry to say in inverted commas, is acting a little bit paranoid, because the purpose of the police and the government and the Minister of Home Affairs is to make sure that people's rights are protected, public life is protected, and if there's a sector in the country which feels that they're not happy with something and they want to protest, it is the responsibility of the police to be able to protect those people and allow them to vent. That's when they can hear what it is. But then to tell them to say, look, we are going to break your bones, and those that now you start warning even the parents, they say if they go out there and don't get surprised what happens to them. This is very unfortunate.
Okay, let's do this. Somebody out there might not know what you're talking about. Let's go quickly and just to hear. You can have your coffee. Let's quickly hear what the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs was saying with regard to the protest that was supposed to take place today. Honorable Stephen Kampiongo talking about the protest. Then we'll be back discussing that issue.
Not so long ago, Zambian youths began the battle of revolution in order to create and demand for a favorable and transparent running of the nation's affairs. The need to speak out by youths was necessitated by the disappointing levels of socio-economic and political instabilities that the current government has showcased. According to the youths, many issues raised include the unbelievable poor levels of unemployment, especially among youths, lack of youth participation in economic affairs of the nation, to mention but a few. Apparently, this gesture has attracted a lot of tensions from various top authorities and leadership in the country. Home Affairs Minister Stephen Kampiongo said that the move to protest would not do any good for the youths. Instead, they must reconsider their decision.
I know, I'm aware that there are some statements circulating that the EU as Zambia Police has authorized the people to get on the streets. There are also some fake media stories also circulating to the effect that the Minister of Home Affairs has equally consented to those activities. My simple warning to the parents who know that their children, and those children who don't want to listen to their parents, we are giving you the guidance that stay at home on the 22nd or even beyond. Those who dare, the state will have themselves to blame. So, Inspector General, you know what you need to do, and you know what you do best for the country. Activate your troops and make them ready to deal with any non-law-abiding citizen, law unto their own hands.
Meanwhile, the youths have since postponed the scheduled protest from the 22nd June 2020 to 27th June 2020.
Okay, we've changed the date, my fellow youths countrywide. My youths banga monse mwe. We were gathered, we were geared that tomorrow we are going to protest and forward our grievances to the president. But the unfortunate part of it is that we have cancelled the event. Hold on first. We have cancelled the event because of the minister's statement. Your protest is on Saturday, 7th June, 27th June, from 10 hours to 17 hours. The same way that my taxi drivers, my bus, my conductor, my wheelbarrow pushers, and everyone that we are with in the struggle, we are demonstrating on Saturday.
The battle for youth still gets bigger and broader, and many have left to wonder if the Zambian youths will live to conquer the fight. Reporting for Camnet Television News, Tennyson Kaunda II in Lusaka.
All right, welcome back. So, Mr. Jones.
We can tell your discussion that we can. This is what you were referring to, where the minister was saying, please, parents, warn your children to stay home. Now you know what's getting exciting. What's exciting? The minister says, we are not going to be allowing huge gatherings until at a time when the situation is conducive. Honorable Mumbipiri was in Central Province at the huge gathering, a PF mobilization meeting. So now, these meetings, huge gatherings, are they only for a certain group? Or, I don't know, you know, I'm trying to understand. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even when you're saying no large gatherings, but others are having large gatherings. We have seen some going on mobilization, they're everywhere. For others, the situation is not yet conducive.
So because of the coronavirus, people were likely to be in hospital because their bones will be broken, I mean.
Colleagues, it's very, very unfortunate. You see, as a nation, we've chosen the path of democracy. And democracy entails that you have to allow dissenting views. And democracy also comes with rights and responsibilities. We also need to appreciate the fact that people in a democracy have got rights. These rights are entitlements that you cannot alienate the people that are supposed to enjoy them from enjoying such rights. Now, the Honorable Minister there is saying the IG should be able to activate his troops, and then he knows what to do. In this country, the Public Order Act does not require the police to give a permit to somebody who wants to demonstrate. Okay, it requires the police to be notified. And then, since the police are responsible for security maintenance, they are able to liaise with such a grouping and advise to say, look, we are sensing danger on this day because there's this group, and this group, if you demonstrate, we're going to crash. Therefore, we are suggesting that you do it this one, do it this way. The responsibility of the police is to police and make sure that when people are demonstrating as the way they want to demonstrate, the young people today, they provide law and order and ensure that there are no deviations or there are no people in that protest that are acting malicious. As you know, people always get excited when they meet in a crowd. Now, in this country, unfortunately, we have never seen really this right of demonstrating being activated properly, because the leaders that are in position of power at any particular time, they are paranoid and they get scared to say when people demonstrate. So from the tone of the minister's language, somebody can infer that indeed today, if the young people went on,
right,
there's going to be bloodshed, because then the police are going to cock their guns and start shooting everybody who's going to come and demonstrate. But you see, the minister should also be alive to the fact that in a huge country of 18 million people, you are not going to have consensus where everybody is going to toe the order of the government. There's always somebody who's going to be against or who's not going to be happy with what you're doing. And these people will come and give a contra view. I think the measure of democracy basically should be measured by how much I tolerate your opinion, which is different from mine.
Comrade, let me just curtail you again a little bit and just accommodate some callers. This is an interactive program. You can take a sip of your tea is still warm, or it's cold now, or we need to make some more. Constance, you still have some tea? Cool. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning to you too.
Yeah, you are talking to Morgan.
Yes, Mr. Morgan.
Good morning, everybody there.
Good morning.
You know, in this country, what is it? The law and the federal was to be all the laws in the whole country. While we are saying this, we are saying this, you know, you want to get those. We saw that the group of people and the so-called defenders were to National Assembly to present the petitions. With escort of police, now he was saying that they should go to protest against the corona. Like this time there was no problem. Last week there was no problem. All the people went to petition the speaker. And they were also going to put that together with the PF supporters in escort to the few police here. They went to give it with the president. So for that, we are saying that the law shouldn't be only served according to but the law is for everybody. And there is no one above the law. So for us as a citizen, we have equal rights. And the rest of that talk about that we report. Why did you take last week we don't want to demonstrate and go to the state? This is why we are saying that here we need law of laws to protect each and everything. And you know that the thing of the demonstration comes from the court. A court gives you a pen, notify the police for the security. That's all the responsibility. I think you're very well.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Shilonda. You can go ahead with your submissions. You are still on the floor. Can you still remember your words?
Yeah, I think I can still remember. I was talking about the police and the rights. Yeah, also suffice to mention that, look, Alan, I think young people need to understand, like, in this country that we have weak institutions. And these institutions are prone to manipulation by somebody who holds a higher position. And the United Nations did a study, actually, and in that study, weaker institutions, and the police in particular, were mentioned as one of those institutions that are not very weak and independent in this country. That's why we are seeing this kind of arrangement. But then they should also bear in mind that indeed the police in this country, they can kill you. They've killed people before who have gone ahead to go and demonstrate. And therefore, even as much as you have the right to go and demonstrate, you see, you still have the right to life. Okay, instead of taking yourself in front of a bullet, it's important that probably they can retreat and seek legal redress. Okay, they can take the minister to court. There's judicial precedence in this country where people took a matter to court against the police, so they can sue the minister and let the court impress and give judgment to say, look, our rights to demonstrate in this instance are being.
But we've had comments coming in from people like you yourself saying even the courts now are compromised. So even if there's a judgment coming in from the courts, it's either it will not be satisfactory, or if it's satisfactory, then those that are supposed to enforce those laws. For instance, I'll tell you, ministers have to pay back the money. Have they done so?
Well,
That's one example.
yeah, that's just one example, Kalan.
The Post
but then
newspaper
it's-
must be reopened. There's a court order there. Has it ever been opened?
Yeah, but we also need to look at this thing in relativity. You see, it's not if the court made a judgment to say the minister should pay back and the ministers are not paying back, it doesn't mean that the court has got no capacity to make a judgment which is binding. And I think that's just one case in point. The judiciary or the courts have been making decisions indeed. It's not every time that the court is going to make a decision that suits my position.
Yeah.
So in this instance, you know, I would urge young people to say, instead of them lining themselves up, because we have seen it in the past.
So you're discouraging them from going ahead with the
No,
protest?
I'm not discouraging from them from going through with the protest.
I was going to be surprised because you
But
just earlier said
what-
that's one of their human
It
rights.
is their human rights. But you see, in as much as the young people have got the right to demonstrate, they still have the right to life.
To life.
You understand? So a judgment has to be made. Do you go and demonstrate where you risk being shot? Because there you've heard the minister there saying, look,
Yeah,
the
then
ID should be revoked.
then no one should take another person's life. Then this is not to do with those children sacrificing themselves for their lives, but somebody else is taking their blood.
Wow. In as much as yes, a revolution probably will come without
Blood being
without bloodshed, but then we have seen, you know, just last month we had the issues of gassing. What did the police do in Mater? They shot a 7-year-old boy. There's no inquest. The minister has not said a thing about that thing. Okay? So what does that show you? It shows you actually to say that the police have got the capacity to kill you here. If you want to exercise, you want to invoke your right of demonstrating. So it's important that when these young people are demonstrating, they should be able to make a judgment between...
Constance, there's a caller.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Madam Wantepane.
Good morning.
Morning. Your contributions and your name, where you are calling us from.
This is the Brani Mwale in Quebec.
Okay, Mr. Brown, please go ahead with your contribution.
Thank you so much for your attention for such a program you bring. Probably many users know it didn't be a lot what happened in this country so-called Zambia. And wonder why we try to compare if I said that we say America to Zambia. I don't know how many times in Zambia going to America. But if America can really protest, we've seen what has been happening. People are protesting. Comes to Zambia, it becomes a problem. Then becomes in full front to say trying to intimidate people. This Zambia country is not for PF, it's for everybody. PF is just a party. But I wonder why this PF continues the people who are. This is not a confusion, bringing confusion in this country. We're not happy. They want this protest with people, and then the young ones supposed to do. We want a free one, a peaceful protest. There was nothing wrong with that. But they like to go ahead in the sense that what they want is to kind of which is not fair. And to me, it's too I reached at an age level. Okay, but why is the thing like this and living to the country? This is the country for international. So this the term what's supposed to happen here, I don't know whether it's there or not. They're supposed to give them a go ahead. But why are they still up to now? No, this gentleman I saw, I don't want to get for this. What he was saying, no, to this and that is rubbish. Because who's there? Who we are tired of this government?
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you so much. Now, there's something that he said.
At Java Kalipa.
No, How many times can Zambia go into America? Now, it took me to mathematics. This is where now you say Zambia into America, it can't. So meaning you have to take Zimbabwe, Malawi, Angola, you add to Zambia, so that we can now make Zambia good.
No, but you can hear that the caller there. Zambia currently has got the largest number of young people, and to us, I think that.
You mean Zambia has the largest number of people where in Africa, in the world?
Zambia as a country has got the largest number of young people.
All right.
So the number of young people in the Zambian population is quite huge. And this is a demographic dividend that the government can utilize to be able to create an environment where these young people are given an opportunity to do whatever it is that they want correctly. But, from the look of things, you can see that we still have a long way. Of course, we can't compare ourselves to America. America is 400 years old. There's rule of law in America. They understand. You see, you've never heard Trump, if you look at the amount of insults that Trump received, you've never had a single day when Trump has taken somebody to court.
No.
Okay? But here we have Chela, who slandered against private individuals, but then the government takes up the responsibility of arresting that person on behalf of the individuals that were slandered. This is another definition or classical definition of law. I don't know which one we are following. So you understand that in America there's this serious institutional quality and strength. In America, if a policeman shoots an individual, that policeman will be fired, taken to court, and you can see it all over on CNN. Here, you have Mapenzi Chivalo, who was shot, the police inquest into University of Zambia killing of that girl, the killing of that Mugala grade 7-year-old boy. You have never heard what has happened to the police officers that were leading that band of policemen to go and commit that atrocity. Now that shows you the level at which we are. Now, if you add that, you take that and add then political leaders who are insensitive to criticism, then you have a serious problem, which is what we are having now.
All right.
Really, a single demonstration for a day should not agitate the entire governance system to a point where you have to start threatening young people, warning their parents to lock their children in there. What kind of a democracy is this? Are we going back to the past where it was one-party participatory democracy?
All right. Constance?
For me, I feel it, the statement from the Minister of Home Affairs, I smiled when he said, parents, lock your children inside. I was like, okay. It was more of what's going on. Why would you tell people that? I mean, this is a situation where people are trying to tell you that they are not satisfied with something. As government, you should be there to listen to the people, and what's making you go on the street.
Constance, if you become a panelist or a questionnaire, now you're taking the role.
No. I'm analyzing the situation.
You're now analyzing.
Yes, am I not allowed to analyze?
Yours is to allow him to analyze. Please, it's not for you to.
Okay. So basically, yeah, that's what I thought, and it was a bit funny actually that the minister had to say. Call on the parents to tell their children to stay at home because they will meet the police. So I don't know. How did you feel after you heard him say such kind of things?
You see, it's a sad situation. We represent young people. We understand the challenges that young people are going through, the difficulties that young people have to be able to break through, the problems that young people have just to raise fees and have a life.
Perhaps is that, after he said that, is that the reason why you are here telling them not to go, or because their life is also important?
No, but you see, we got to learn from our mistakes. As a nation, we have to learn from our...
Okay, we have a caller on the line. Now, from now until the end of the program, we'll be breaking off for some calls. Good morning. Okay, that particular caller is gone, but...
so I was saying, look, it's very unfortunate because, you see, when you have a leader such as the Minister of Home Affairs, what is his main duty? His main duty is to protect property and people's lives and maintain law and order. I think the issue here should be what guarantees are these young people putting in place to ensure that their protest is not going to be violence. It will result into losses of lives and people's private properties. Not to be there to threaten them and ask the police inspector general to invoke his men. What he should be actually be saying, look, the young people have insisted, can you provide enough policemen and women to make sure that this protest is peaceful? I don't want to hear anything to the contrary.
There was another interesting part where the minister said, you know what to do.
Yeah,
what do you think he was...
So the inference here is from what has happened in the past. When the minister issues a statement like that, it means the police should come out and deal with it.
It's a direct order.
Yes, it's a direct order. Now,
go and break their bones.
Order is what? It's the one that was confirmed by Honorable Tutwangulube to say break their bonds. These people that are not listening to what the government is saying, break their bonds. Okay, it is an issue of shooting, because we have seen the police just to quell a violence at the University of Zambia, their protest. They go in and they kill somebody, and an inquest is held, and the judiciary determine, and the government today is compensating the family, the Shimunjila family, with 500,000 kwacha, because the police, a government institution which is charged with the responsibility of protecting people's lives, took away a life. That is a serious indictment on the government part. And the minister should be able to sit and reflect to say, look, what exactly is going on here? These are young people. They are just not happy. And this issue is emanating from the fact that there was gold in Minilunga, and that is not being managed properly.
Okay, you can hold your thought again. Constance, there's a caller on the line.
Good morning.
Good morning, madam. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm okay.
Please, your names and where you're calling us from?
I'm Tembo Shadri calling from Suria.
Okay, you can go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, in the first place, I would like to thank the panel for the encouraging comments that they are giving.
Right.
Yes, I'm a Zambian citizen now. The rate at which things are going is very worrying, and it is an embarrassment to our country, because many countries are watching us. Is it true that Zambia is a democratic country? If it is a democratic country, why is the government in power fearing for the youth who are trying to protest against the things that the government is doing? Because as you have seen, things are very weak. There is no rule of law, no jobs. Those in political powers seem to have everything. They try to trample our lives. Now, if Zambia is a democratic country, why is the PF government fearing the youth? We have a lot of issues which need answers. But as of now, if you look at things, police have more power than we people. Even the introduction of these cutters in the bus station, they are nothing else. So let the government in power see to it that we youth are given the best priorities, because it is us who is suffering.
Right.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much. On that note, what we can do is everybody is saying things are not going well, and this is where the church now comes in to bring peace and reconciliation. For now, colleagues, quickly, let's just go for just this clip where Pastor Chiluba is just calling for peace and reconciliation, and just hear what he had to say. Just break off for Pastor Chiluba and hear what he had to say with regard to peace and reconciliation in the country.
No, we need peace. We need the blessings of God. Even the church, as a church, we are supposed to bring reconciliation. But sometimes us as a church also, we have got political inclinations and ambitions. And I want you to know that most of the people who are appointed in some of these places just start an NGO. These NGOs, before long, the government says, what happened to what you were saying?
All right, welcome back. So that was Pastor Chiluba giving us quite encouraging words on peace and reconciliation in Zambia. Sir, I know you are more with the youths, but do you really... Let's talk about peace right
Jones.
now.
It sounds more...
Jones, are you okay?
Sure.
Okay, so Jones, do you think there's peace right now?
Yes, we do have peace. I know our colleagues out there will say, look, peace is just not the absence of war.
Yeah.
But we do have, we are relatively peaceful, and we do have democracy. If we were to answer the caller from Mufulira, we do have democracy. But what we are lacking, or what we have, is that we have paranoid leaders. You see, paranoid leaders that are able to call people who express themselves in a manner in which they are not pleased with nonsense and stupid and moronic and things like that. Okay, so we do have peace, but of course this peace is in an environment where we have social exclusion. Okay, there is no employment, there is no economic opportunities. The issues of COVID have added assault to injury and things like that. But, you know, on the face value of it, yes, we do have peace. You know, like, truthfully speaking, we can say we are not peaceful because we don't have these things that we are calling for. But we don't have war. I think we don't have militia type of arrangement. But we have paranoid leaders.
That's the 12th time you're using the word paranoid. All right, but there's a caller on the line. Good morning. Hello, good morning. How are you?
I'm okay, how are you?
Very well, thank you. There's some feedback on your line, but just reduce the volume on your TV set.
Okay. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, I reduced the volume.
Okay, you can go ahead.
Yes, my name is Kumwenda.
Yes, Mr. Kumwenda.
I'm calling from Rwanda.
Yes, sir.
When I get up and I look the first program, I stand up for family.
Quiet.
When I look down with my dad, I'm going to one day. The other is you take away the
Yeah, even as we conclude with our program, we only have 4 minutes. Quickly, Jones, I want you to wrap it up with the proposed. These are not final. These are not final. Let's make it clear. The proposed electoral nomination fees. As young people, how do you receive such kind of a proposal? Do you think this would encourage more youths to participate in political positions come 2021? If these fees were to be standard fees going with them in 2021, of course, we've heard a lot of other institutions, political parties and organizations complaining that they're just too way high. The PF are one of the institutions that have also complained that they're too high.
Kalan, this is like democracy on sale. What's the essence of democracy? Rule of the people, by the people, for the people. It encourages inclusivity and it enhances participation. Structurally speaking, culturally speaking, you know, systemically speaking in this country, young people are excluded from every angle. Culturally, you hear people tell you, you know, this is meant for bigger people. Imitikula Mpanga, you do it. Calm down, you do it later. That is a cultural exclusion mechanism that is put in place. Okay? Structurally speaking, I just gave you an example of political parties and their youth chairmen who are 45 years old. Honorable Kampiongo is the PF youth chairperson. How old is he?
No, he's it's now the
Kelvin
Sampa.
Yeah, thank you for that correction. How old is he? MP Kelvin Sampa. Ricardo Mufarari, UPND. He was member of parliament in 2006 to 2011 to 2016 or something like that. Now, structurally speaking, young people are already excluded. Okay? On top of that, you see, it goes back to the issue of debt and the treasury and the deficits. Okay? It is the responsibility of government to be able to fund the ECZ so that the ECZ can facilitate a free and fair election that enables everybody to be able to participate. Now, on top of the young people fighting to be able to get on the political nomination of a political party, now there is a 25,000 that you have to cough out. Now, in this era of COVID and this socio-economic mayhem that we are in, where are the young people in Kaputa going to get the 25,000 to be able to lodge in as nominations before they even start campaigning? Look, we are saying those fees are too much. I think the young people should be able to petition the political parties themselves to be able to lobby, because really that proposal is to the political parties per se, because those are the ones that provide people that are nominated for standing. So we feel those fees are too much. Let the political parties speak with the Electoral Commission, or let the young people petition the political parties and make presentations and counter proposals to be able to come up with fees that are reasonable, that young people are going to be able to manage to cough out when the such time that they're nominated comes through.
All right. Jones, we're now into borrowed time. You can conclude the program, Constance.
All right. Thank you so much for coming, Mr. Jones. Jones. I keep on calling him Mr. Jones.
It's fine. He's also a Mr.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming here to represent the youths and for your views. So that was our program on Rise and Thrive Breakfast Show right here on Camnet TV. We'll meet you next, when, Cullen? When are we coming in?
It's on Thursday.
On Thursday?
Thursday.
Okay. And we are still doing our countdown. We are remaining with 8 days now.
Right.
Yeah, 8 days to be on DSTV and Go TV.
Right.
So from me, Constance Mwemba and Cullen Muchima, Rise and Thrive Breakfast Show, it's bye-bye and stay blessed.
Good morning. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming through.